The hum was the first thing Elias Thorne noticed, a low, insistent thrum vibrating through the soles of his boots and up into his teeth. It wasn't the usual electrical buzz of the Chronos Initiative labs. This was organic, unnatural. He adjusted his goggles, peering through the swirling mist generated by the experimental atmospheric stabilizer. Dr. Aris Thorne, his father, a man whose genius was only matched by his eccentricities, was pacing before a colossal sphere of polished obsidian. The sphere, codenamed Nexus, was the culmination of a decade's work, a theoretical bridge to alternate realities, a doorway to possibilities beyond human comprehension. The resonance is intensifying, Elias, Aris announced, his voice tight with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The harmonic frequencies are aligning. He's about to breach the membrane. Elias, fresh out of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and reluctantly conscripted into his father's operation, ran a diagnostic on the control panel. Numbers flickered across the screen, a dizzying array of data streams. Power levels at 97%, father. Dimensional stability at fluctuating wildly. Aris ignored the warning. Magnificent. A doorway to the echoes of what could be. Prepare to record, Elias. This is history in the making. With a final, dramatic flourish, Aris flipped a switch. The obsidian sphere began to glow, the hum deepening into a resonant pulse that made the very air shimmer. A swirling vortex of colors erupted within the sphere, like a miniature nebula contained within a dark jewel. Then, something emerged. It wasn't a person, not an animal. It was a form, a being composed of shifting, iridescent light, vaguely humanoid in shape, yet utterly alien. It drifted out of the Nexus, its presence disrupting the lab's meticulously controlled atmosphere. What is that? Elias stammered, instinctively reaching for the deactivated laser pistol at his hip. Aris, however, was transfixed. A traveler, he breathed, his voice hushed with awe. From another one. The being pulsed with light, then spoke. Its voice resonated not in the air, but directly within our minds. Asterisk greetings. I am Lyra. I require assistance. Asterisk. Lyra's mental voice was unsettlingly calm, despite the obvious chaos it represented. She explained, with a precision that belied her otherworldly appearance, that she was a temporal cartographer from a future where time travel was commonplace. Her reality was under threat. A temporal anomaly was unraveling their timeline, consuming everything in its path. She had detected a point of origin for the anomaly Earth 1948. The anomaly it's eating our history, Lyra explained. It begins as a ripple, a distortion. Then it grows, erasing entire eras. Soon, all will be lost. Aris, ever the scientist, peppered Lyra with questions. What caused this anomaly? Can it be reversed? What technology do you possess? Lyra's response was sobering. The origin is complex, rooted in the misuse of temporal mechanics. Reversal is possible, but requires a precise counter-frequency. My technology is beyond your current capabilities. However, I detected a nascent temporal resonance within your experiments. Your Nexus shows promise. Aris's eyes gleamed. You're saying my machine it could be the key? Potentially, Lyra conceded, but it is unstable, untamed. It requires calibration. I can guide you, but the process is dangerous. Exposure to unstable temporal energies can have unforeseen consequences. Elias felt a cold dread settle in his stomach. This wasn't a scientific breakthrough, it was a cosmic Pandora's box. And what are those consequences? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Lyra's mental voice turned melancholic. Memory alteration, personality fragmentation, paradoxical existence, the merging of selves, the potential to cease to be. Aris, however, was undeterred. Then we proceed. Science demands we confront the unknown. Elias, prepare the Nexus for a resonant synchronization. Lyra, begin the transfer of your corrective protocols. Over the next 72 hours, Elias and Aris worked tirelessly under Lyra's guidance. The Nexus was recalibrated, its energy matrix realigned to accommodate the alien corrective protocols. Elias felt himself changing, the constant influx of temporal data subtly altering his perceptions, blurring the lines between past, present, and future. He found himself remembering events that hadn't happened yet, experiencing flashes of a life he hadn't lived. He saw himself older, haggard, embroiled in a desperate struggle against an unseen enemy. He dismissed them as stress-induced hallucinations. Finally, the moment arrived. The Nexus was primed. Lyra initiated the synchronization. A wave of raw energy surged through the lab, slamming into Elias with the force of a physical blow. He cried out, collapsing to his knees. He felt his mind fracturing, his memories fragmenting, merging. When he opened his eyes, the lab was different. Not significantly, but subtly. The lighting was warmer. A framed photograph on Aris's desk showed a woman he didn't recognize. He looked at his hands. They were older, weathered. The MIT ring on his finger felt firm. He saw Aris approaching, a puzzled expression on his face. "Elias, are you all right? You seem different." "Different? What do you mean?" Elias asked, his voice raspy. Aris frowned. "You seem distant, unfamiliar. Have you been experiencing any memory issues?" Then Elias saw it, a fleeting image superimposed over Aris's face, another man, all that with the same piercing blue eyes, but filled with a cold, odd resolve. The image vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving Elias shaken and disoriented. I don't know," he stammered. "I just feel like something isn't right." Suddenly, a news broadcast crackled from the radio. "Breaking news, a mysterious energy surge has been detected near the Chronos Initiative laboratory. The source remains unknown." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. He knew with a certainty that defied logic that this was only the beginning. He had unknowingly averted a temporal catastrophe, but in doing so, he had unleashed something far more insidious. He looked at his hands again, focusing on the MIT ring. It was real. He was Elias Thorne. He was a scientist. He was a man with a mission. But now, he was also something else. Something fragmented. He looked back at the photograph on Aris's desk. The woman's face was now strangely familiar. He remembered her name, Elena. He remembered a life he hadn't lived. And he knew, with a growing sense of dread, that he was no longer entirely himself. A new entity was taking shape within him, a composite of memories, experiences, and identities. A being born from the collision of timelines. A man destined to fight a war he didn't understand, against an enemy he couldn't see. He smiled, a sad, knowing smile. "Father," he said, his voice echoing with the weight of countless lifetimes, "I think we have a lot of work to do." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small metallic device, a temporal anchor, a gift from Lyra. It pulsed with a faint blue light. "Because I think I've just become part of something much bigger than either of us.